In this section, we will discuss how to gather all the information you need for the tracker, as well as showing you how to enter it into the spreadsheet. The first step before you enter any information is to think about your income and your outgoings. The more accurate you are at this stage, the greater long-term control you will achieve from your finances. However, don't enter every small purchase you make into the tracker, as it will become too laborious to manage. We promised this was a simple approach, and we'll show you how to bundle up some of your small costs to make this much easier. You can either write all your costs down, or just enter it into the tracker and add to it as and when you feel the need, or as you think of items that you know would be useful to include. First up, start by writing down all your income. This should be fairly straightforward for most people, and in our example, we have just two sources of income. The next stage is to write down or enter all of your outgoings into the tracker. When doing this, think about the frequency of your outgoings and categorize them as one of the following. Costs that you pay for on a monthly basis, such as rent or mortgage payments, bills, loan payments, phone contracts, insurances, and any other items that you have monthly outgoings for. Weekly or even bi-weekly costs such as food, socialising costs, fuel for the car, and any other items that you pay for on a weekly basis. Think about the things you purchase on an annual basis, such as car insurance or the money you spend at Christmas. Do you really want to get to that time of the year and make a large payment, which may make a big dent in your finances that month? If you know or can estimate the costs, then the best thing to do is to put some money aside each month so that when that time comes around, you have the money saved. We will show you how this works later using the money jar function, but make a note of any annual costs that you want to plan for so that this can be used in the tracker. Ad hoc costs such as birthdays or paying for dentist appointments twice a year can catch you out. You know that they are coming every year, but when they do come, they can cause a hole in your monthly plans. By including them in the tracker, you'll be well prepared and can adjust and move them as you feel the need. To keep the tracker simple, don't include every small item as a separate line. Bundle some of your expenditure together. As an example, if you know you spend roughly £20 per week on food at work, then add this as one line in the tracker or add it to your weekly socialising costs. The tracker isn't about itemising all your items and micromanaging a spreadsheet. It is about including a cost so that you can see the impact on your future finances, giving you control with a simple yet effective tracker tool. What is key to the success of the tracker is that the costs you enter are a good representation of the costs you spend each and every month. You probably won't capture everything first time round, but the closer you can get by entering your fixed and estimated spending, the more you'll be able to plan for your financial future by having accurate figures to work with. Your spending habits will change over time, so make sure you keep the tracker up to date and revise the information as and when you need to. Okay, let's have a quick review of our example data that we will enter into our tracker. We have two sources of income, our wages and money provided by a partner. Then we have our mortgage and insurance costs, which are fixed monthly payments. Next, we have our utility bills, which are also monthly costs. The next two items are car tax and car insurance, which are annual costs, but we want to put some money aside every month so that we do not have to make a lump payment from our monthly finances when the time comes. To calculate this, we divide the annual cost by 12 to give us a monthly cost, which we will save using the money jar function. We have highlighted the items that we want to use the money jar function for in red. We also have a weekly cost for petrol, as we know this is roughly how much we spend. Next is a line for birthdays to make sure we don't get caught out. We have also included a monthly cost for our mobile phone. Then we have two lines for savings. One is for holidays, and the other is just to put some money aside based on our savings goals. Both of these will use the money jar function to capture the savings. The last two items are weekly costs. The first is our estimated food costs for the week, and the second one are our socialising costs that we have bundled up into an estimate based on how much we typically spend. Okay, Now we have our example information, let's start entering the data into the blank tracker. After opening the tracker, the first thing we will do is enter the dates. If you are not familiar with Excel, then we will explain how to complete everything in this tutorial. In Excel, you have columns and rows. The columns are named with a letter and the rows are named with a number. The boxes are called cells and each one has its own reference. For example, this cell is called E5 as it is on column E and row 5. The number of the cell is also shown in the top here. So to enter the date, we click on E5 and enter the current week commencing date, starting on a Monday. For this example, we will use the 9th of March. In the cell next to it, we need to put the date for the following Monday, in this case, the 16th of March. Now we have two dates, we can let Excel do all the work for us by clicking on the first date, holding down the left click and highlighting both dates. Then, if you hover over the bottom right as shown, a small plus sign will appear. Left click and drag this to the end of the sheet and Excel will complete all the dates for us. The next stage is to enter all of the headings for your income and outgoings. If you want, you can highlight the items that you'll save using the money jar functions in a different colour as a visual aid when moving costs around. We will show you exactly how to manage the money jar feature later. The first figure to enter is your income. Enter the first set of figures as close to your payday as possible. This does not need to be exact. As long as it is close, then this is fine. In this example, we get paid at the end of each month. After you have entered this, the next stage is to manually copy and paste this across the tracker. Do this by highlighting the income cells as shown, press Ctrl and C, then move along the sheet to your next payday and paste the cells using Ctrl and V. This should only take a couple of minutes to complete. The next stage is to start entering your figures based on your outgoings. For your monthly costs, you have two ways that you can enter the information. You can either enter these as close to the date where the money comes out from your account, like this, which will give you a much better idea of your weekly balance at the end of each week, but it will take more time to enter the information. Or you can include the monthly costs just stacked in a vertical line like this. This method is much easier for copying to different months and managing on an everyday basis, but using either method makes no difference to the long-term forecast. It is up to you how you do this, but we prefer the simple vertical method and we use it in this example. Once you have entered your first line of data, we will show you a trick to copy it very quickly. To copy the data quickly, highlight all of the outgoings including at least one of the green cells. Then press Ctrl and C to copy the data. When it is copied, you will see this moving dashed line around the cells. Next, click on the green cell that you included when you copied the data. Then press Ctrl and the right arrow. This moves the cursor very quickly to the next monthly income cell, and you can then paste the information using Ctrl and V. Then you just repeat the process. The next stage is to copy the weekly costs by highlighting the cost to copy, then Ctrl and C, highlight the cells you want to paste it into, then Ctrl and V. Repeat this for all your weekly costs. The next stage is to include any ad hoc costs. For this example, we will just add a few random entries for family birthday presents. We have identified some items where we want to use the money jars function. We will enter these now so that when the time comes, we can start to add funds to it. The last thing we need to do for this example is to add our overdraft limit, and then we are ready to start using the tracker. You can already see how this has started to forecast our future finances and is providing us with some powerful information. Once you have set the sheet up for the first time and got used to using the keyboard shortcuts to copy the information, then the tracker becomes so easy to manipulate. This probably took me less than 5 minutes to complete, so it can be done quickly, but equally, it may be something you want to take your time over and enter the information as you think about your spending habits. It really is up to you and is such a versatile tool.